I am preparing for 3 different drawing challenges for the month of October. I have chosen 3 different challenges that I'm going to try to participate in. Taking on the challenge of doing 3 challenges seems a bit much. I am definitely somebody who's very extra and a self-proclaimed overachiever. But I'm also being easy on myself. I want to do some short form content. If I end up, with life happening, remember that making art should be fun. I'm doing these challenges to have fun with it. The whole point of doing these challenges is to have fun. I tend to be somebody who gets a little too in my head, obsessed about being a perfectionist and an overachiever. Remember the mantra, making art should be fun. I just learned what reference layers are in Procreate. I cannot tell you how many hours I have wasted by drawing with my brush in each individual section in a new layer and then filling it in with the little color drop tool. I could have saved so much time if I had just used the reference function. Oh, I feel so dumb. So, how did I get to this point? Let me bring you up to speed. Hi, welcome to my art dungeon. I am Mora, God of Thunder. I'm an artist here on YouTube and also a self-confessed Procreate noob. If you weren't here in our last episode, I will summarize, but before that, I encourage you to get your snacks, drink some water, get cozy, get comfy. If you like this video, then please like it, helps me out. And subscribe if you want to see where this wild artistic journey takes me. I would love to have you here. So last time, as you saw in the intro, I was preparing to take on 3 different drawing challenges for the month of October. Peachtober by Furry Little Peach, Ginktober by Ginkgo Jelly, and Cursed Relics by Alba BB Gigi. If you do want more context, feel free to pause this video here and watch the last video in another tab. Go ahead, I will put the link in the description. Don't worry, I'll be here when you get back. So in that video, I was very positive. I was giving myself lots of leeway and room to have a fun, relaxed, colorful time. So of course, after I turned the camera off, I stayed in that great, positive, relaxed mindset, right? Wrong. Very, very wrong. Did life happen? Oh yeah, lifed it up. And so I didn't do any of my sketches ahead of time. I spent way too much time on my little test paper paintings. And on October 1st, I was still editing that last video. And so I was already feeling like such a failure. So where am I at now? Have I given up? Have I totally failed? Well, let's travel in time back to Monday, October 2nd. I didn't actually film any of my face on that day, so I will play the art making footage that I have from then. I started my first Ginktober piece and was thinking about what I wanted to do for Peachtober. I knew I was already a day behind, and so I started coming up with ways to combine the first 3 days of prompts for both of the challenges, since I knew I would need a bit more time to complete them. I thought I would use mainly Posca pens to complete my first Ginktober piece and to help save some time, so I sketched the design out on coated cardstock. Despite spending so much dang time testing which would be the ideal paper type for acrylic gouache. Oh, and spoiler alert, I made the sketch way too detailed, and so I needed to use acrylic gouache after all to maintain the fine details, and because I was painting on coated cardstock, which is actually probably the worst paper for using acrylic gouache, it took more coats and more time to complete my first Ginktober piece after all. On Tuesday, October 3rd, I was still finishing my first Ginktober piece. But I'll be honest, I was actually really loving it. I loved working with a traditional medium. I loved how the piece was looking. I loved extending my yokai babes lore from my paper test paintings. Okay, maybe I was doing okay. Maybe the challenges weren't going so poorly after all. Also, my first YouTube video went up and I was so nervous about it, so nervous about posting it, but I had a way better response than I could have ever expected. So it wasn't too bad. Wednesday, October 4th went well too. I made a more simplified piece for Ginktober Day 4. What? And I was on schedule and everything. And I also made really good progress with my Peachtober piece for days 1 through 4, which I decided to do digitally to save a little bit of time. On Thursday, October 5th, I was feeling so good. I finished up the last bits of my Peachtober piece. I also knew I wanted to make a more detailed piece and tie in prompts from days 5 and 6 of both Peachtober and Ginktober, and I was so proud of what I was making. I even had my idea for week 1 of Cursed Relics all sketched out. I was on cloud 9. I was spending more time making art than I had in a long time, which I have to say is all thanks to my amazing partner Marshall, who took over all of like the household stuff that I normally do so I could work as long as I wanted to. But then things took a turn for the worst. I started feeling really sore in my neck and my forearms and my wrist from the hours and hours of drawing and painting that I was doing, and also from craning my neck since I was bent over each piece and working on teeny tiny details. And then I had a very big emotional reaction to something that happened in my personal life. And then Friday came, and I'll be honest, I just got totally sucked into watching the Rugby World Cup, even though I was still working on art stuff. By Friday, I was definitely showing all the signs that I was burning out, and I was burning out hard. I was obviously exhausted. I was not in my positive mindset at all, not even close. I was still working on painting the piece that combined the Ginktober and the Peachtober prompts. That part was actually going okay. But in my mind, I was starting to get more distracted by Instagram. I was starting to compare myself to other people's art. I was comparing my progress to other people's progress. Even though when I actually look back on it, the fact that I was able to, I would say, pretty successfully combine the different prompts that I combined, I felt like I was failing. I felt like I was drowning. It was not going exactly in the direction that I set out to go in. So on Saturday, I finished the piece that I had started before, posted it. I was actually really happy with how it turned out, so that was great. But I was still burnt out. I was exhausted still. So on Sunday, we went and visited some friends, which was a very needed break. I needed to get out of the house. I needed to see just normal, loving, wonderful people in my life, and I did, which I'm so thankful for my friends. And so that kind of brought me back down to reality. And then I realized the only failing that I was doing was that I was being so hard on myself. I said in my first video that I would do the challenges that I wanted to do, that I was doing this as an experiment. Yes, I admitted that I like to be Little Miss Overachiever, but I had made more artwork in that whole last week than I had done in a really long time, which was a big achievement. So luckily, thanks to my lovely friends, I realized that. And so went into week 2 feeling a little bit better. So for week 2, I decided to work entirely digitally. I really wanted to just simplify. I also wanted to make it so that whatever I was making could be just 100% portable. It also cut out all of my setup and cleanup time from using paint and markers and ink. Although I will say I really enjoyed working with traditional mediums in the week before, but I was like, let's bring it bring it down to basic. And so for me, that was using Procreate on the iPad. So as I have said now many times, I am still quite new to Procreate. I've used it for a couple years, mainly to play around here and there, but the only time that I have spent a significant amount of time using Procreate was actually, ironically, when I was doing my software engineering program, because for my app that I was building, I decided to make, I think over 30 individual custom emojis that kind of reflected my Hawaiian and Japanese heritage. Anyway, unrelated, but during that time, I was drawing on Procreate like every day. And I got a little bit more used to using the program. I kind of found my flow, but those were much more simplified drawings compared to what I have been doing lately. So I sketched out in my sketchbook or using Procreate for my different prompts. I combined a few here and there, otherwise did individuals. Some things got a little weird, a little spicy, but that's okay. Week 2 has actually gone quite well. And actually, I've really enjoyed working with Procreate, even though I was spending way too long, little did I know, on filling in things with color. But hey ho, you live and you learn. I think bringing things just back to one simple, portable medium was a really good choice. I'm going to still keep using it here and there. Who knows? Maybe I'll use it for everything else. I don't know. And so going into week 3, I am going to throw all of my plans out the window, except that I do plan to actually give myself some room and leeway to do what I want to do. I'm going to skip prompts if I want to. I may post some artwork late, but it's fine. I'm going to actually remember the mantra this time that making art should be fun, because it should. I think the whole reason that the artists who came up with these cool prompts came up with them so that we could all have fun together. So I intend to do just that. One thing I will say is I am going to make more art. That is for sure. So have I failed? Well, not exactly. I think the only time I truly failed, when I really actually failed myself, was when I was way too hard on myself. I got in that nasty comparative mindset because imposter syndrome is a cruel mistress. But I'm glad that I recognized that so I can move forward and remember it's okay to have lofty goals. There's nothing wrong with having big goals, but just remember that. They are exactly that. They are lofty, big goals. Just remember what are your basics that you want to accomplish. You can have your big goals. That's totally fine. But remember the basic things that you want to accomplish and be proud of those things. It's great to just make little steps. Any progress is progress. I probably sound a little too self-helpy, but I'm not trying to. If anything, this is for me, but I hope it also helps you. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate each and every one of you. I really, truly mean it. I'll say it again. I was so nervous to post anything. My art, the videos, the fact that you guys are here and watching is just amazing. I truly, truly appreciate it. I don't think I could have pulled myself out of the big, nasty despair pit that was imposter syndrome if it wasn't for you guys. So truly, thank you. And aloha! I will see you next time. Bye!